All right. I've got to figure out if this is actually working. Yes, it is. You aren't gonna hear this. All right. I'll wait for Lita, because she was the person who asked me to do this. Yeah, and I might I might end the stream, restart it if it. All right, so this song has it's called The Long Halloween. There's one person here, I don't really know who they are, but this is The Long Halloween. This is the Ableton session for The Long Halloween. I opened this one for the first time in a while. It has a surprisingly low number of tracks for what it is. No one is here. I will wait. I don't know what concurrent viewers means. All right. Anyway, the first thing in the song is just this piano track, which is not. I mean, it's just the riff. There's not a lot to say. I put a reverb on it. Which is this. Those are my reverb settings. I think that I used to put way too much reverb on shit, and then just crank it down here, which is not the best way to go about things. You should tweak your reverb settings to make them sound better here, and then send to it accordingly up on your sends. But the way that I did it back then was different than how I would do it now. And then we have the first vocal track, which you can see was very loud. So I dropped it down 12 decibels, which is quite a bit. And so that's the first one. That's dead center. Oh, shit. Why? My bass track is just going at it. There's not even a never sleep. The hell? I've never had that issue before. All right. Well, so there's the piano drop, which it's just this singular note on a low C that's I cranked up the velocity all the way, quantized it, so it's a very precise, like, then I doubled that with this bass track, which is it's just a double bass, and that on its own sounds like that. It's got tremolo on it, so the way that they're bowing the string is like that's a horrible mouth sound effect to depict that, but it's wavy like that. If they were actually bowing it in real life, they would be like shaking their hand back and forth to make it kind of like so you can kind of hear that waver in it. That's at full velocity too. Then I have this drum track, which is just it's a hi-hat that's open and then closed. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't know what this is. Oh, that's my bass. So I just have that one bass note that doubles the drop. But it didn't double it here. I'm dumb and I went to the second one. So anyway, so then after this, after the piano drop, or what I'm calling the, and also to accentuate the piano drop to bring out the high end, I sigh on it and the vocal track, which is a really subtle thing, but it makes it feel a little more airy. And I think that it goes well with this strings patch, and it brings out the high end in the strings patch, and doubles it so it makes it seem more kind of like a wistful string. It's just that tiny little breath. And then we move on to the rest of that verse where everything comes in. It's the same piano line, just with higher velocity. And then down here, this is the lead vocal track.
Anymore 'cause he thinks that he's not worth all of the effort it takes him to rest.
And there's that one, and then that one is paired with this one, which I put a bunch of processing on. So if I take off the processing that's on this vocal, it sounds exactly the same as the first one.
He never sleeps
except it's in the far right, or the far left ear.
He's not worth all of.
So it's panned hard left. And if I go in this guitar rig track, we can see I have this pitch pedal on it, which brings it up a fourth. So how do I describe that? So whenever you're in music, all the scales are split up into, well, there's how do I explain this in simple terms? There's scales. Every note within a scale is numbered to tell you its function in it, and so that you can like call upon, okay, what chord am I playing? I'm playing the third, or I'm playing the fifth. So I take the melody, which, say my melody was just this stagnant note, this F, then that pitch pedal shifts the other vocal up to the fourth, which is that note. So it's that kind of a harmony, which is a weird harmony. And that's why I picked the fourth, is because it's kind of like it's a type of harmony that they would kind of use more in like rock or metal, and not in a lot of other places, because it sounds kind of weird and kind of dissonant. So I bring it up a fourth, and that's the wrong track. Sorry. Bring it up a fourth, and if I take out the other effects on it, then you can hear what it sounds like just being pitch shifted a fourth.
He never sleeps anymore 'cause he thinks that,
and it sounds like shit. And I knew that it sounded like shit whenever I made it, so I thought it would be kind of cool to make it all distorted and kind of ease into that more metal sound a little bit better, so that the song can kind of feel like it's continually building until it gets to be super heavy at the end. So I added this distortion on it. It's a guitar distortion, which makes it sound dirty. And then with the normal vocal. And you can hear on its own now, you can really hear how weird of a harmony it is.
He never sleeps anymore 'cause he thinks that he's not worth all of the effort it takes him to rest his weary head.
And whenever I put the distortion on here, I noticed that on the front end and the tail end of this audio track, you get those breaths that I take, which in the normal vocal track are just kind of like, in that vocal track are these like really scratchy, and I thought that could be kind of a cool like lifter into the next verse if I take this that breath, and rather than cutting it out and trying to isolate it, make it not a part of the track, just accentuate it and bring it out, so it's kind of like a hi-hat hit on the beat before you enter the track. So you get that growth, and then when on the next part of the verse, whenever it comes in with all the instruments, that's kind of like a riser that lifts you into where you're about to go.
He never sleeps anymore.
The drum tracks are shittily mixed because I didn't know how to mix drums back then, and I thought I could keep them all in the same track for some reason. So I mixed all my drums in the same track, which is really stupid, but that's what the drum drum track sounds like on its own. And then we have the bass. And the bass, so what happened with the bass line is when I originally wrote the song much slower. The song initially, I don't know what tempo it would have been at, but it was a fairly slow song, and it was a basic waltz. And so whenever I raised the tempo and turned it into this, heavier song, I couldn't play the bass line anymore, because I'm not that good of a bassist, and 5-string bass is harder to play because the strings are bigger, and so when you're trying to play fast riffs like that, it's harder to get them to actually make a note, because a lot of times you'll end up having like dead notes and shit. So I had to do MIDI bass, but I tried to make it sound as realistic as I could and as good as I could. And it's got, so you remember before, whenever we saw this plugin, Guitar Rig 5, but I had different effects on the other one. So on here, I've got this tape deck, which I don't think I intended to have on there, and it does not do anything, because I'm not doing anything with it. So it's not affecting the sound at all, but what does affect the sound is this distortion. So without the distortion, it's going to sound like shit, and you'll hear that it's really fake. And that's like clearly a MIDI instrument. But I beef it up with this like bassy distortion that sounds like hellish. And that's, yeah. I picked this distortion because one of my favorite bassists is named Robert Sledge, and this one is called the Sledgehammer. Has nothing to do with Robert Sledge, and the distortion doesn't sound like his distortion, but I was like, oh, I want to go for the sledge sound, so... And then, so when you put all those pieces together with the piano, you get the...
He never sleeps anymore 'cause he thinks that he's not worth all of the effort it takes him to rest.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, I fucked up my piano track. And then we have the second drop here, where on this one, once again, oh, shit, never mind. I was wrong. I am sorry. There is no sigh on that one, but there is this bass replaces, or no, it doesn't. The strings are still here. I have bass. We have that bass string that I talked about before, and then we have that drum hit, and then the piano fall. Going into the next verse, or the chorus, I mean. So the big thing here that I'll talk about is the strings. This is them on their own in that section. So I was trying to go for like a horror movie soundtrack sound, and when they have those suspenseful strings that feel like they're building and they're kind of like, I don't know how you would describe it, all over the place, they're like scattered. So I keep that tremolo on there. They're bowing the strings with the tremolo. And this is just a full string section in one track. This is a full string section in one track, sorry. And I fuck with my arrangement here too. So on the first chord, I have notes that are higher up and that are bigger, and then we have them kind of condense down for that G, because on the piano, we have kind of a condensing section on the piano, so I wanted it to be like big, 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 small, and then big again, and then at the end, you want to keep it building, so I have the highest notes and the highest spread of notes, and I also do this thing, which this is probably the thing that I should be talking about, is I automated this pitch bend curve. So pitch bend, I mean, it isn't a misnomer. It tells you exactly what it does. I mean, it bends the pitch. But sorry. So I automated this. I kind of tried to automate this like exponential curve up of pitch bend, so that as you get towards the end, the pitch bend is faster. So if we hear it on its own, you can hear right when it starts, there's a little bit of pitch bend. Like if you listen really closely, you can hear that just tiny little microtonal push up, which is building the suspense. And then as we get further through the line, the curve gets larger until the very end, you have that really big inclination upwards. Shoot. And then I release the string. So you have this. It's kind of like you build up and then I can release. Which every single chorus I do that build up and then I just release and we go back to the soft section, so that at the end, whenever you build up and you get the payoff for that build up, it feels so much more rewarding because you've been building up all these previous times and just waiting for that explosion, and then once at the end you finally get the explosion, then it's rewarding. It's more rewarding. So then in the chorus, the drums are different. It's kind of using this crash as a wash of sound, having this kind of kick pattern. And these crashes are made to accentuate the bass later. Because later on, the bass has that line, when the bass and the drums are in the same section, the bass has that line that's like, ba, ba, da, and those land right on that. And you can see here at the end, there's this build up on the kick and the crash, which accentuates this build up. I mean, all the instruments in that section kind of build like that. Hold on, I gotta. So, sorry. This one person is really holding out. I don't know who you are. You can send something in the chat if you would like, but you're very interested in this song. So I get I'll go to the piano next, and then I'll do vocals last. So that piano track sounds really fucking artificial on its own. I think that when I first played it, it was a lot sloppier, and I fixed it up in post, which I don't really do that anymore. I kind of like the sloppy shit, but at this time, I thought it was like a detriment to the track. So chords here are weird. So we're sitting on the fourth, which, as I've mentioned before, in a minor key is kind of a weird harmony. And then we go to this G, which is a really odd chord for this position. It's a major 2, and it has this note which is out of the key. And this note which is out of the key. So you're 2 notes out of the key, and it's kind of this weird chord, and I'm using that to supplement this chord. which this chord is really common in the key of F minor harmonic. But instead I supplement this chord to use there to make it sound more dissonant and more just like it has more tension. And on the second time around, I do go up to the chord that you expect to have partially payoff, but that also raises the suspense of the section. And that's about all I have to say. Yeah, there's not much else to say about that. So, vocals.
The days don't end.
That was clipping.
Long as he pretends.
That's the lead vocal. I don't know why I didn't fix the clipping. That sounds like shit. That would be really easy to fix. Just sing a little further away from the microphone. Why would I? Okay. Sorry, I'm criticizing my own song in the middle of talking about it. All right. The only difference with this vocal is we have the same vocal with the same effects, that pitch shift and then that distortion. But this time there are two of them, and they're panned hard left and hard right to give the vocals more stereo width. So if we have all three together...
the days don't end long as he...
You can hear how that's wider. That feels larger and wider.
thinks that he's not worth all of the effort.
So we kick into the chorus.
Days don't...
And then I cut out these two vocals for pretends because I wanted to bring it back down small. So as part of the release, those vocals cut out and were brought just to this solo vocal, which
pretends.
So if we hear all the vocals together, you'll be able to hear it's like.
Long as he pretends.
So you can hear it cuts out, and so it feels kind of like a bigger.
Long as he pretends.
So the piano solo was entirely improvised. I had recorded I recorded it in the same track as the chorus piano, so that those chords, and I had the second verse piano riff in the spot already because I knew it was going to be there, so I was like, oh, go ahead and put it in there. So it started playing, and I just kind of started playing over it and fucking around on my keyboard. I think that the beginning of it is pretty cool.
Pretends.
And is, I don't know. For my improvisation at that time, I think that this was pretty good. And, I think this part is less cool. But, I mean, it's fine. And I like to have that under the actual verse as kind of a counter melody to everything. And that repeats that part of the solo, and then the first part of the solo repeats under the actual verse. Like I said, as a counter melody to it, to the verse and the verse vocals and stuff. The verse piano is exactly the same as the first verse piano, except in this section I panned the piano riff to the left ear and this piano to the right ear, so you have more width with the pianos. It's like the pianos are all around you. We have that little break in the piano section, and then we pick back up. And once again, I'm using the breaths that I took in the distorted tracks as a riser into the section. Where is that? There it is. So you can see, you can hear my breath there, and it's more subtle, but I use it still as a riser into the section.
A girl lies awake,
and I double
minutes till
the normal vocal because this one was too quiet. So
Girl lies awake, counting minutes till dawn, surrounded by friends who won't tell her she's not alone. But none of them know that all the time that she spent alone sleeping goes toward her boy and her friends, and she thinks that she'll get enough sleep when she's dead.
all right, so this verse, I've been through that. The drums are exactly the same, if I remember right. That's not drums, that is bass, but bass is the same too. Oh, the drums are different. So this is the drums on the first verse. It's more subtle. And then this time around, I've got these eighth note hi-hats going through the whole thing, rather than having breaks. And I have, technically this wouldn't be possible to play. The way that I write my drum parts is I listen to the song and I write them on the actual drums, and then I go into the digital audio workstation and I draw in that drum part and then add extra things that are not possible to play in real life to spice it up, to make it sound cooler. So I added these cymbals over the snares, which technically wouldn't be possible to play at the same time, and the hi-hats, unless you were pedaling all your hi-hats, which would be kind of a weird way to do it. But those do that, and then at the end of the verse, I have the same build as in the end of the chorus, but it... and then that verse repeats twice over, rather than the first verse repeated once. And then the second time, the drums are a little different. They're on the ride instead of the hi-hat because the ride heightens it. It's larger, it's more mid-rangey, so it kind of heightens the section. And if I go out of the drums, then...
Sleep when she's dead. Nights can.
Strings are exactly the same. Except this chorus repeats twice, so obviously all the parts are longer. But the strings are the same, even though they have an extra section. And is this the same as the... Yeah, it's just a little bit higher velocity on the second chorus, the drums are. I was Yoda there for a second. And then I think... This is the chorus where I got really fucking dirty with my harmony. So... I have the lead vocal, which is normal.
Her nights can't last, his days can't pass. The year's one long Halloween.
And then I have the normal harmony that's on the fourth that we already heard. And that's, oh shit. And that's doubled left and right, so that you have the full stereo width of that. And with the normal vocal, that's like this.
Can't pass. The year's one long Halloween.
But then I added another harmony, which it's on a, it's on a fifth, which is just stupid because the fourth and the fifth are one note in the scale apart. So you have these harmonies that are super fucking like combat-y because they're right at the same spot. And it sounds nasty. And I really liked it whenever I first produced it. I remember that. So you get that just like, like it just feels gross, and all of that is doubled right and left, so you just get the full width of it, and it sounds like shit on its own, but we add in the normal vocal to keep kind of the tonality of it. And there are these weird chords on the top, but they sound fine.
Years one long Halloween.
And then, I mean, you hear that in the context of the rest of the chorus, and you don't really notice it as much, but it's, I don't know, I think.
Nights can't last, days can't pass, years one long Halloween.
So then this section is pretty normal. It's about the same as the basically the background of the verses. But I changed the bass track. So it's the exact same line as this. But I put it on this track, which is, it's got different effects on it in here. It's got this demon distortion, which is way more beefy distortion. I take everything off, you can hear it. And then I add on the demon, and that's nasty. But then I pair the demon with this big fuzz one that brings out the treble a little bit. So you get this just super fucking full, like, nasty bass sound that's just beefy as hell. And then that sound allows the bass to take the main light as the main track. And earlier I was talking about those cymbals are written to go with the bass. So you can hear what I'm talking about here. In this very last time, you'll listen to those cymbals. And so the cymbals are ksh, 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 and the bass hits on the exact same note. So it feels... it just accentuates both lines. The piano this was one of the sections that I just kind of fucked around on the piano and improvised, but it's all over that riff. Repeats the same. Then we go back to this section, and this is the same piano line as there was at the beginning of the song, so we're bringing it full circle back around to the beginning. I have the same vocal track here, and it's just
10:29 on the day that it started. Boy turns his lights out and picks up his garbage and says, tonight marks the end. The girl lies awake on her bed in the dark, putting off the sleep she so desperately wanted. Instead, she speaks with her friends.
So then after that, we kick into the final chorus of the song, which is also the largest. And the piano track is a little different. It's full velocity pretty much all the way through, but also there's two different things that fall on the G, and I rearranged them here. So and then the other thing about this chorus is that I got really, really small with my grid size here, zoomed in super far, so that I could put the tracks, the place that this chorus starts, not on a beat at all. So all the latter half of the song is offset from a beat. It's not on a time at all. It's in between 2 and 3, and it's not on an 8th note or a 16th note. Maybe on a 32nd note. I don't really know, but it's just kind of lands randomly so that it feels super surprising when it lands, because I wanted to have this silence and this calm and then this jolt back awake that comes out of nowhere. So it happens not on any beat. It doesn't happen where you might expect it to happen. And then it's the same vocal tracks, but there's just doubling. So there's like 80 of them, and you can hear them all. It's just, yeah, a lot of...
I am just not what you'd want from a friend, but please pretend that I am.
And you'll hear some of the lines go, please, fuck. Please pretend that I am. And then some of the lines go into that scream, which brings you into the final section of the song. And I have a couple scream tracks up here.
Please pretend.
Which my screams sound like shit on their own, because I'm not very good at screams. I was just kind of screaming nonsense. I think in there I scream cold blood. It's just kind of... But you don't hear any of it. But it sounds wimpy and dumb as hell on its own. There's the cold blood. I don't... And that to me sounded gross as hell whenever I first produced it, and I thought that people were going to hear that wrong. My voice was kind of dying by the time I was done with all the screams, and so I was just kind of whimpering off. Oh, here's my inhale screams. My
But please pretend.
Oh, that sounds like a fucking 2000s emo singer. Please,
Please pretend.
It's really stupid. So you can hear all the screams in there, and when they're all together, it doesn't sound as weird, but
Please pretend that
next thing to cover, I have these bells. So the bells are a sample. I got a sample from something. I don't remember what it was, but it's like a cemetery bell chiming. And it's just one of these hits. It would sound like... Well, it would sound like... Hold on. I'll show you. I think this is on a sampler. Oh, no, I can't. Never mind. I can't show you. But... it's like a cemetery bell chiming, and so what I did is I took it and I put it through a sampler, and I played that line. It's just an arpeggio. And I think that's how it goes. And it's, and then I took that line, which was this, and then I duplicated it on an audio track. which was this one, but I pitch shifted this one down 12 semitones, which is an octave. So you get the normal version, and then it's octave, which makes it sound just more full. And that's all far right. And clipping the hell out of the thing. I don't know why I didn't fix any of the clipping in this song. There's so much of it. But and then the string section is the big thing that's different. I loved this string section. When I originally made the song, the bells weren't in it. So the primary focus was this string section at the end. And I loved it that way. And the only reason that I changed it was because it was Halloween, and I had this idea that was like, you know, cemetery bells for Halloween, and also like the dying of old habits or whatever. Kind of stupid, but I thought it was a cool idea. I think it sounds cool. So I put that in there, and it makes the strings kind of get buried. But the string section to me is really pretty. It almost moved me to tears whenever I first like heard it in action in the original version of the song. I just think it's I don't know. I think it's really pretty. So that's there, and then that's paired with an organ, which is on the far right ear. Which I think I wrote the organ line first, and then I kind of rearranged it onto the strings. The strings are much higher than the organ, and get me a slightly different arrangement of notes. So that's there, and then I've got the drums are about the same. I mean, I talked about the drums earlier. I go into halftime there, but I don't really think I need to point that out. Piano's still there. And then we're back to the beginning with that piano line. Yeah, I think that's about it for this song. Either of you can ask any questions if you have any. I'll answer them. I'll answer about this song. I'll answer them about whatever, honestly. You can also request a different song for me to run through next if you'd like. I don't know. But that was The Long Halloween. The one person who sat there through the whole fucking thing of me explaining that song, I applaud you. I would have been so bored and left so quickly. But you really stuck it through. You've not said anything in the chat, but, you know. I'm fine, Seth. That sounded really standoffish. I'm sorry. I'm fine. Thank you for asking. And yeah, I don't have much else to say about this song. All right, I'll just play the string section again because I want to hear it. It's funny. The reason I started with this one was because Lita said she wanted to hear about this one, and then she wasn't here for most of it, which I'm not mad. It's not her fault, but yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah. Does anyone know what they want to hear next? What they want me to go through next? Oh, I forgot to talk about these strings. All right, sorry, I'll go back and do this. In the final chorus, I have the tremolo strings still. So that's the normal strings. Those are the normal strings, and that's what was in the previous choruses, except I think I made it, yeah. It's a little larger. The chords are bigger because I wanted the arrangement to keep growing throughout the song. Seth, this is double bass, cello, and viola here, and then this one is violins and violins too. So I don't think you'd have to have that weird number of them. But some of my songs, it would be like 50 violas and nothing else. So, and then I have that swell at the end. So instead of being this blasting tremolo thing, it kind of swells up to bring you back into the chorus, which accentuates this. So you can hear it's really big, and then that it kind of grows back into it. And then there's this song, or sorry, there's this string section, which is this super fucking high strings. It's my violins. And it's just this really pure violin sound. To bring out the high end of the string section and kind of make it larger, make this whole string section feel larger. And so, yeah, then whenever you have those string sections leading into the biggest string section in the song, Lita, that is not going to pop up on the stream because that's on my other monitor. I hate to break it to you, but... all right. I'll do After All These Years. I don't know what song has lots of violas. No, I didn't make any changes. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't remember all my arrangements for shit. As part of why going through that song was so disgruntled was because I didn't fucking remember how I made anything. It's been over a year. Yeah. Or actually, almost a year. 9/6/2019 is when I produced that song. Oh, no, that was when I modified it. When did I make it? Because I know that I modified all of them around that time. Properties. Wednesday, August 21st, 2019. It's fucking feels like forever ago. I know that it wasn't really, but that's over a year ago. It's nuts. All right, After All These Years. What was crunchy? I don't know what crunchy is. Something's crunchy. I don't know what grort is either. So I don't. The fuck is that shit? All right. So, how do all the songs on this record have so few tracks? This song is so long and has so much, and it's only 35 tracks. How the fuck did I do that? I'll look at Crunchy after this. So, I mean, this is the piano line. If I remember right. Nope. I've kind of just been listening to the song and not talking. There's not a lot to say about this bit. I put a compressor on the vocal and I put vocal treatment. So I put de-essers and declicks and voice isolation stuff so that the vocal sounds better. But that's kind of common practice at the end of a song.
Be the last time that I see your smile. It's hard to believe I've known you for such a damn long while. It'd be better if you cared. It'd be better if you tried to seem less disingenuous when tears.
The first piece of arrangement that we have in the song comes here.
I was the
So that choir is the first piece of harmonic arrangement, and it's just a swelling vocal. I just recorded these tracks and kind of made my voice grow as I and it's just forming the chord in the section. It's pretty simple choir arrangement, but there's that one, and then there's I am going to remove all of the RX7 shit because it makes it run slower and it's not really that big a difference for right now. So is that literally the only place I have any RX7? Man. Oh no, there's shit here. Okay. Rid of RX7. All right. So now this should run better. Oh shit, that's not how good. Yep, perfect. All right. So, other piece of arrangement there is this timpani, which just helps to build. It's a timpani roll. It's just one long timpani roll, and I automated this curve of volume so that kind of slowly creeps up, and then as you go further, it gets faster. It's an exponential growth sort of a thing. Then it plateaus out. And that accentuates the U and makes it just kind of this larger growth.
Was the one who cared about.
So you can hear it there on towards the right ear. And then it releases off, which helps that release to feel better.
To sum it up with something new after all these years.
So we have the timpani here again, except it's longer this time and the build is slower. So it kind of it takes longer to increase and get to its full volume. Then we have the drums, which, hey, I mixed them correctly this time. Good on me. I have this kick, which builds as we go into the next section, and then as the build gets bigger, I have this snare come in, cymbals come in, and more cymbals come in. And then it's the exact same vocal arrangement.
Fuck you.
Except they come in a little bit differently. They all come in one after the other.
These years. Fuck you.
Wait, I get a gold star for what? And then so that keeps building up to here, and then it drops. This string arrangement here is weird. When I hear back this string arrangement, this is the bit of the song that I'm like, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. So it starts. So I like the chords. I like the. I think that's good. This is the bit that I don't understand. Why did I arrange it like that? Because in the way that I wrote the piano progression, originally it was like... but now since I arranged the strings like that, I had to do this weird staccato thing on the E that's like... I don't like it as much, actually. But I don't... But nevertheless, because I arranged the strings like that, I had to arrange the piano in a similar way, make it kind of a... and then the strings do... Shit. Meant to do it this way. The drums are pretty boring here, but I'll solo them so you can hear them. And then once the verse actually comes in... and that's it. And the other stuff stays the same pretty much, except for the strings stop doing any staccato and they go into this more wistful state, where it's kind of just droning on these chords. And I made it a little quieter to make it more subtle. I do really like this arrangement here. So if I get rid of the other notes, how do you fucking deactivate them? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's 0. Oh, my numlock wasn't on. So I think that's a cool arrangement. That's all cello. Because I split up my string section in a specific way. And I have this one, so the bottom note always remains the same, so it's kind of like a flip-floppy thing going down. You're kind of laddering your way down. So you can see this note is the same here, this note is this note is the same here, and then this note is the same here. So you're kind of working your way down the chord in a weird way. And it's a subtle background thing in that arrangement, but I like it. And then the bass notes change, which is... nowhere else in the song do the bass notes change, so it's just particular to the string arrangement. And yeah, the rest of it is just chords, honestly. And then they do that staccato thing to end it off. So
I'll probably forget you in the first week of school and go make friends who really think I'm cool.
And originally there, I had a sample of a bunch of people going, wow! It's like a bunch of little kids. It's like, go make friends who really think I'm cool. Wow! And it was a joke, but then I thought that it sounded really cheesy. But you can hear in my original vocal track, I did add one, and I just cut it out of the song. So originally it was...
And go make friends who really think I'm cool.
Wow. And so in the original version of the song, that was a lot more accentuated. I don't have that audio anymore, so I can't show you, but...
I'll probably forget you in the first week of school and go make friends who really think I'm cool.
Wow. And I thought the wow sounded dumb even just on its own as a kind of awkward thing. I tried doing it like, wow, like really awkward, but then I also didn't like it, so I took it out. How do I reflect on the lyrics and such? This song, I still really like it. I think the lyrics are... I don't know. With the subject matter of that whole record, it was really angry at my friends. And I don't feel as angry at them anymore. I don't have that as like an active emotion, as like, I'm so angry. But I do think that for the time, it was a fairly honest expression of what I was feeling. Because I was fucking pissed. Like, that was at the core of my driving force at that point, was like, I didn't want to let go of this. And I was feeling really hurt by the fact that I had to, because they didn't care about me. So it was a tough thing to write about, and at the time I just kind of was like, well, if I write super witty shit about them that's just fucking with them and throwing blows at them, then I can express that anger and that pain and that hurt, while still just being kind of lighthearted and fine about it. It was an easier way to accept the change and accept moving on, while still being able to recognize that they were shit people and that they really hurt me. So I hope that the third person who's not Lita or Seth is not one of the aforementioned friends. If you're Isaac or Harrison, it's not you or Henry. That's all I'll tell you. Or Remy. But Remy wouldn't join this. He doesn't really use Instagram. Anyway. So that's, I don't know. How they relate to me now, I'd say not a ton. I don't really feel that much anger for people. Obviously, it's not Lito or Seth. The people that I don't... Sorry, I should clarify that. How they relate to me now, I don't think a lot, because I don't really feel that much anger towards anyone anymore. I don't really get angry as a person. It's hard to make me angry, and the fact that those friends did make me so angry was kind of a one-off thing. But I don't know. The parts of the record where I talk about that fear of change, and there's some parts where I talk about like feeling lost in a new place, and I relate to that shit. I mean, one of my driving character forces is a fear of change, and I am often in new places where I feel really lost and scared, concerned. And I still feel that sometimes, but I don't know. lyrics across the board on the record don't relate to me as much anymore, but it was a really honest and really needed expression of some stuff I was feeling at the time, I think. So it's not like I think badly of them. I just don't feel those feelings as much anymore. Anyway.
Get you in the first week of school and go make friends who really think I'm cool. And I won't have to falsify.
So I have this harmony here, which is just, it's pretty simple. It's just like a third above.
I won't have to falsify my past to make them laugh. I won't have to act.
It's pretty pitchy. I'm not a very good singer, and especially during this record, I was going through puberty pretty heavy, so a lot of the vocal tracks are not very good, but...
and I won't have to act.
But you don't hear
I won't have to falsify my
You don't hear the inconsistencies as much when it's in an ensemble.
past to make them laugh. And I won't have to act.
And then this is where the cool arrangement starts happening. So I'm not going to talk about the choir yet, but I am also not going to talk about whatever the fuck this is. Oh, those are the claps. All right, sorry. What I am going to talk about is this string section into the next section. So you remember in the Long Halloween I was talking about how I did that pitch bend automation? It's the exact same pitch bend automation here, except on a different chord and shit, because... So it's a curve that goes up to build the suspense. And I was intending that as kind of like a tie back to the Long Halloween, and so kind of keeping the album connected by these tiny things. So you have that build the same as in the Long Halloween, and during that build it moves from the right ear to the left ear for mixing reasons, and also gets substantially louder and then gets quieter, and that's all kind of to build the suspense, but also to we bring it into the left ear so that in this section it can be in the left ear, which is better for the mixing of that section. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck this is. Oh. So then I have that bass slide up, which the bass slide does not sound very good, but... So we have all the stuff kind of culminating here.
Oh, we're back.
So then the chorus, we've got this bass here. Super fucking distorted, I put... it's the same distortion from the Long Halloween here. It's the sledgehammer, which I did pick because of Robert Sledge, if you're wondering. It has nothing to do with him, but I was like, my favorite bassist is Robert Sledge. So, yeah. He's not my favorite. He's one of my favorite, though. And then the strings build, and then go into this. Oh. Man, I have not heard this string arrangement by itself in so long. It's very pretty. Damn, I love that. God, that's gorgeous. Fuck. I'm gonna get rid of the automation. Oh, sorry, I'm gushing over my own music, but oh, dude, this is so pretty. How did I forget about that? Damn. Okay, I'm gonna pick apart what I was doing here. So, no violin. It's viola is on the melody. if I get rid of that, and I get rid of all that, you can hear. I can't get rid of all of it. Okay, so essentially we have what's happening here are all the, that's so cool. All of the strings melodies are diverging. So I was basically making X patterns. So as the viola 2 comes up, the viola 1 goes down. As cello 2 comes up, cello 1 comes down. As bass 1 goes down, bass 2 goes up. So you have these kind of diverging X paths, and then in the middle of the section, I do the pretty shit. I get all of the lines doing their own stuff. Like I add this little bit in here. Which sounds cool. And that accentuates the jazzy notes in that chord, because that's a G minor. Or no, it's not. It's an F diminished 7. And so we accentuate the F, which is super out of key. We accentuate the E, which is super out of key. So that melody kind of helps. This is the thing that I am interested about to hear on its own. Because that's the thing that's making that bit sound so pretty. Because this is just a stagnant chord. But I didn't want to have any of the chords be just perfectly stagnant chords. So that's a normal D chord. No, it's not. That's an E7. It's an it's an E7. But I add this C sharp in there, which makes it like an E... Fuck, how would you note that? E67, E6 and 7 at the same time. That's not accurate. Don't use that. But it's got the 6 and the 7 in it for a brief moment, which adds some tension. Makes it cool. And then it resolves down to an A. Man, that I have not heard that in forever. That's probably my favorite string arrangement on this record. Holy shit, man. I mean, on the whole Songs from a Separate Elsewhere. Shit. That's so pretty. And then the drums are really high octane, and they're super simple. They're punk drums. I did punk drums here, so you get it's just basically every quarter note, and then you have the ride on the eighth notes. Or I guess that's also on quarter notes, sorry. Yeah. It's just all quarter notes. There's nothing else. Till somebody else. And then to pair with the drums, I have these claps. Which are just live claps. They're me clapping. And I clapped, and then I panned one hard left and one hard right and cranked up the reverb to make it feel louder. And then the choir. Choir is probably the big thing. It's a tiny choir. The thing that I found in writing and producing Songs from a Separate Elsewhere, I was practicing with my choral arrangement. I realized a small amount of choral composition goes a long way, because whenever you are in the context of a larger orchestral section, choir is really large. Just in general, whenever you have these big booming ahs, is a lot larger sound than a lot of other orchestral instruments. So when you have a really small choir arrangement and use the other orchestral instruments to fill out the rest of the space, it's a lot prettier. And it goes a lot further than you'd expect. So this is just 3 vocal lines. It's one that's this. And that fades out, and then you pair that with this one, which is just a third above that, or below that. Oh no, it is above. Shit! How did I sing that? I thought I could only sing low notes. Yeah. So this choral line is, I guess this is, I can teach you a little arrangement lesson. So I noticed after the first chord, that note was in a lot of the chords. That note and that note were in a lot of the chords, or in all the chords. So I could just stay on this note. And then I drop down there, which makes that chord feel more interesting. And then I go back up, and then I go back down to this note, which helps it resolve better. And whenever you're sitting on a note like that, it builds a certain amount of tension, but it's also ties whatever you're composing. It ties that section together. It makes it feel more whole. I have 30 minutes? What do you mean? Oh. And so then you get that, I don't know, it helps it feel more whole, feel more real, and then it also builds the tension as you're going on and staying on that note and staying on a small collection of notes. Then there's this one, which I don't really remember. It's... How do I sing these parts? That was not my singing range. How did I sing that? That sounded like shit, but how did I even do that? All right, and then... And in context, actually, that sounds really fucking cool. I'm glad that that's there, I just didn't... And so, like I was saying, a little bit of choral composition goes a long way. I need to fix my strings. I forgot about that. Where's my strings? Control-Z. Gotta cycle through all... Oh, shit. Control-Y. All right. So... So the automation is back, so it doesn't fuck up the mixing for the rest of it. All right. So, I mean, but like I was saying, a little bit of choral composition, yeah, I do remember when I sold my soul to the devil, goes a long fucking way. So you hear that section, that choir section isn't that big. When we hear it on its own, it doesn't sound all that big. But when we hear it in the context of the rest of the section, it sounds huge because we have the other things supporting it. And so it can fill its little pocket and make the song feel all the more whole.
Act. We'll all wear baggy shirts and go get lost in a new place till somebody else.
Oh. I guess this is more of a production thing, but go the fuck away. Yeah, go the fuck away! It's just a bunch of different recordings of me saying "go the fuck away." I stood varying lengths away from my microphone to make them sound different, and then said them slightly different. It was like, "Go the fuck away!" So there's that one, and then there's this one. Go the fuck away! I think I was laughing in that one. Then there's this one. Yeah, go the fuck away! Which has "yeah" at the beginning of it, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Fuck away.
And then there's
Go the fuck away.
That one is gravelly. Damn, that was angry. Go the fuck away. And then I panned hard left and hard right and cranked up the reverb. So it's a fuller thing.
Yeah, go the fuck away.
Somebody else. And I was just trying to emulate someone yelling at you, go the fuck away. Like, I don't know. I always thought of it as like an angry neighbor. Like, you know, you're doing something in their yard. You're playing games with their kid or something. And they're like, go the fuck away. But it needed to be an ensemble to sound good in the song. So it was kind of just like a... Kill somebody else. But it won't matter, 'cause I'm away from those who made me say the same. And then this is the next section, and this one is, I mean, this is what I consider the bridge. Technically, I mean, the song doesn't have a bridge or a chorus or anything. It's just a continuing list of bridges, I guess. But I always thought of this as the bridge. So we have this leading tone in the bass, which I think is really important. So where we end, we're on an A, and I have the bass go. So you're kind of leading us into the next section. And it's a really subtle thing, but that was the thing that I thought made the transition into the next section actually good at all. So if you hear it without that... But when that one had one too, sorry. But it doesn't sound as good. I mean, it sounds fine, but it doesn't sound as full. It doesn't sound as good of a transition. But once we have the bass in here, the same. But when I slip and make a joke that no one knows, I will. And honestly, in this section, I was trying to make room for the bass the most because I wanted to have the bass be more of the focus of it. It's more of a groovy, like, backbeat bass line than a lot of the others on the record. Hard to let go. And obviously, I didn't want the bass to be the main focus. I just wanted it to take the limelight more than it had in previous sections of the song. Feel quite alone. It's too hard to let go. But you wouldn't know. Okay, and then this is the cool leading section on the bass here. Oh wait, shit, that's not what I thought it was at all. I thought it was like I think I wrote that and I just couldn't play it, or like I don't know. Why is there a spike here? The joke. Oh, yeah, makes sense. So, and then this section is where the song completely changes, because we kick it into D minor, and the rest of the song has been in D major. The way that I do that, theory-wise, is I trail this section off and build it up with this chord that has a full D minor triad in it. So it's a G minor 9, but we have the A. Oh shit! we have the A from D minor, the F from D minor, and the D from D minor all in there. So even though we're over a different bass note, and you can, it's a different chord than D minor, it has all of the notes in it, which makes the transition more seamless. So rather than resolving it like I normally would, I build it up with that chord. The joke in reference was the joke album that we had planned, my friends and I had planned when we were in 6th grade, called My Heart Will Go On and 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 On. Well, it's on was 17 times. I wasn't keeping count, so I can't do it. But it was a joke album that we were going to make that was going to be 17 horrible covers of one tiny section of My Heart Will Go On. And in 7th grade, I finally got, I could produce music and shit. And so I was like, holy shit, I'm going to make our fucking My Heart Will Go On thing. And so I made the first song from it. I made the first cover. And I showed it to my friends, and they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they did not know. They had no idea. And so I was like, that kind of hurt me a lot because, it didn't hurt me that they didn't remember. Thing that hurt was having to realize, shit, it's a different time than then. And this is something that's deep embedded into my memory as a big thing, and they don't remember it at all. It's just gone to the past, they've moved on. And that hurt to me. So basically what I was saying is that was in reference to whenever I first came to Central and I was at Tiger Academy, I made a reference to My Heart Will Go On and On and On, out of nowhere, in the middle of a conversation, because it came up and the person was like, what? It was Noah Bruckman. I should not have said his last name. I think that's against the law or something. Anyway, it was a kid at the school, and I made a reference to that joke album to him, and he was really confused and had no fucking clue what I was talking about. So I was like, shit. And I almost started crying because I was like, oh, fuck. I've lost all these friends who I had so much history with and all these jokes and shit. And that's just all gone. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, wait, I made that joke to them and they didn't get it either. They didn't remember. They didn't know. So the line is sometimes I'll slip and make a joke that no one knows. I'll feel quite alone. It's too hard to let go, but you wouldn't know the joke. There was an original lyric in that spot that had nothing to do with jokes. I don't remember what it was. I think it was nonsense. And if I slip. I don't remember. Are there old vocal tracks? No, there wouldn't be because I rewrote it before. This song was weirdly prophetic. I should talk about that. So in this chorus,
and we'll all wear baggy shirts and go get lost in a new place till somebody else but it won't matter 'cause I'm away from those who made me say the same.
Wait, why fuck me? This verse, this chorus is it's weirdly prophetic. So I wrote this song, this section of the song, we'll all wear baggy shirts and go get lost in a new place, that bit, months before this happened. But then, so whenever I first switched to my new school, we had this like before the school year orientation thing that we had to do for a week. And so when I was at that, the last day of it was take a tour of the school. And we got like split up into these groups to take a tour of the school, and we got given these t-shirts. Now, they ran out of the medium and small sizes of the t-shirts like really fast. So all they had were large and extra large. So I got split off into this group with these two new friends that I had made. And wasn't going to see any of my friends from my old school for the whole day. And then they gave us these massive, super baggy t-shirts. And then they were like, and the thing that you're going to be doing to tour the school is going on a scavenger hunt throughout the building. And in my mind, I was like, holy shit. That's exactly like those song lyrics that I wrote. We're all wearing baggy shirts, and we're about to go on a scavenger hunt in a place that we've barely been. And so we go on the scavenger hunt, and my group gets lost like 3 times. And so that whole day I was like just baffled as to how it was so accurate. So I was just saying stupid shit. I was really into Cave Town at the time, and I was kind of just like being like dorky and saying dumb stuff like, we'll all wear baggy shirts, go get lost in a new place. And a teacher, we came down to this one area where we thought that something was going to be, and there was a teacher there who made us leave and got really mad at us and was like, you can't come down here, you have to leave. And in my mind I was like, what? Because we all wore baggy shirts and went and got lost in a new place. And then they didn't say that, but they basically, they told us to go the fuck away. And I was, yeah. Anyway, and we'll all wear baggy shirts and go get lost in a new place till somebody else. Honestly, this chorus is my favorite bit of the song. It's like, I don't know. I think it sounds dumb, and it's like really goofy and fun, and I think that it pairs well with the sound. The song is, all wear baggy shirts and go get lost in a new place till somebody else go the fuck away. Da-na-na. It won't matter 'cause I'm away from those who made me say the same. And that was the bit that's relating it back to my friends, and the rest of the song is like, I just wanted to get the fuck away from my friends. I Know I'm an Asshole just hit 700 streams. The one from October just hit 700 streams on Spotify, so it's like really fucking close to 1,000. I don't think it's going to reach it anytime soon because no one's really listening to my music right now, but like less than there had been. But yeah. Anyway, moving into the next section, I already played it, so just... But when I slip in, no. The joke. Alright, and you thought that I talked about the other shit for a long time. This is orchestral arrangement that I modeled after a piece by... John Williams. It's the final battle in Revenge of the Sith. And it's like... and
The joke.
I mean, it's none of the melodies are the same or anything. It's not like I was taking off of it. I just was harmonically. I was like, I'm gonna do pretty similar shit. And those are the jazz chords, and that's my favorite chord progression in the song, is just this little upwards increase. Because those are nasty chords. Fucking love those. It's so we start on a G minor 7, or shit, no. G minor, what would you, it's like a G minor 9 or G minor 7 sus 2. I don't remember how the chords go. All right, so that's where we get dirty. So that one's a pretty normal chord, but it's already jazzy. It's got some jazzy extensions. And then that one is gross. It's an F. It's an F major, which is really normal in the key of D minor. So I tried to make it super not normal by putting D minor's diminished fifth as the bass note under it, which is a half step away from the third in F. So this is the one in F. This is the third. The bass note, which is the note that determines the tonal center of the chord or how you perceive the chord, is a half step off of the third, which I'm not going to go into super detailed theory. I'll just leave it at what I've said, but that's really gross. And then we have this C sharp, which is a gross chord already because C sharp and A flat shouldn't ever be in D minor. And so and then I put that A over it, which is once again a half step off of a note in C sharp. So it's already a gross chord to put in the key, but then the bass note is a half step off of the fifth, which makes it even cooler. And then this is more tame, but it's still it's another F major, but it's got a 4 in the bass. And then we go back down to the 1. And why does this have shit at the beginning of it? All right, so there's that.
Joke.
I'll go to the bass first, which it's just the melody for the section. But then it has that little counter melody harmony at the end. And then strings is where it's gonna get long and cool. So those rapid chord changes would sound like shit on and shit. Those rapid chord changes wouldn't work on a string section. It would sound really bad. Also, by the way, I don't care if 100 of them come from my friend keeping it on repeat with the volume off. I would just be thankful for that friend and still think that it was really fucking cool to see a number beside my song on Spotify rather than less than 1,000, because it looks really dumb when my top 5 songs are completely nondescript and just say less than 1,000. But those rapid chord changes wouldn't work on the string arrangement, so instead I just do 2 of the chords and then have the bass note moving up steadily. Which also brings up more tension. And then this part is just the melody with harmonies over it. All right, and then what is this? Oh, these are my tubular bells and then my choir. This part was the part that I added in that I was like, oh, that's so sick. Because it sounds very John Williams. It sounds like very large film composition. So the choir on its own, it's a MIDI choir, so it's a sampled choir. So it's choir samples of people singing certain notes. I made it super staccato, brought up the velocity super high, so it's these sharp and then there's a lot of release and reverb on it, so it's and then I added these bells to accentuate it, which just kind of make it feel larger and more punctual. And that was kind of my mimicking the bum 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 bum. That's my impression of the final duel from. It's like. And then the cables cut at some point on down the line. It's like. And there's lava everywhere, and it's so I bring back the timpani. It's just timpani rolls there that builds you into the next section, and it's the exact same from the very intro to the song. It's a really subtle thing to just build at the end of the section. That was one of the kind of tiny touches that I added that I thought helped a lot. What, Seth? Oh, you're talking about my Revenge of the Sith. Thanks, I'll be here all week. No, I won't. I'll be here this evening and no other day of the week. So, then you can really hear, in my impression, I thought you meant in the song. So that and then the second time around, it gets bigger. I just made all the composition bigger. So we add in the choir, which once again, tiny bit of choral composition goes a long way. That's a cool choir composition. Damn, I did a good job with that one. So this is the melody. And then I have this one, which is a harmony to the melody. And so when you have those two together, and they hit on the same note sometimes to kind of keep it feeling fluid. and changing. Whenever you have choral composition that hits on the same notes occasionally, it feels like it's kind of taking the other's place and moving and shifting around, which creates a really fluid feeling. It's something that a lot of classical composers do a lot. And then there's this one here. So this is the high one. And it's just going down. It's working its way down. And then, so all together. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. The bass, and then woodwinds, and I spent so much time on the woodwinds, and you can barely hear them. So, I fucking love the woodwind section, and it's just counter melodies. Well, then I think this is it's a bass clarinet that's playing the actual melody. And that's playing the melody. Everything else are these weird counter melody. Oh, no, this is the melody too. Oh, no, it's not. So, I'm not going to go into too much theory detail about them, but this is a glockenspiel. That's not in the woodwind section, but it was to give it more attack and bring it out a little bit more. I think this is my bassoon. Yep, it's my bassoon. And this bit right here, the over the jazzy chords was my favorite bit to arrange, and I spent so much time just making these tiny little tweaks to the arrangement. It was probably like half a day just working on that little bit and being like, how crazy can I get here with this? So this is flute, yeah. And you can hear I put this really weird melody over it to make it accentuate all the weird notes in the chords. And then I was like, okay, well, I have that flute melody. How can I use the other instruments to harmonize with the weirdest melody that I've put in this whole song? So that melody is weird. It's janky. It doesn't sound great. And I built on top of it just to make it. And there's so many like incremental differences in the notes and the harmonies. I think it's really cool. And then to add some different rhythmic information into the woodwinds, the bassoon kind of works its way slower up through those notes and doesn't have the same melody. And I think that sounds nasty as hell. So there's that, and then with the glockenspiel. The glockenspiel is exactly the same as the flute. So, but I want to add this on top of the piano so you can hear just the... And then if I had the choir back in... this next section, I just kind of messed with the rhythm of all of it. Nothing adds or really changes. It just stops. It has some stops in there. Where I let different instruments take a solo, which is kind of jazz orchestra-ish. So we have the drums take a solo, and then the pianist takes a solo, and then we go back into feeling now this. So you remember earlier I had this. So I bring that back for this final section, which this final section is just a chromatic dissension, essentially. And I bring this back. Thanks so much. Damn, that's a low blow. So I bring that back, which ties you back to the previous section. Which, I don't know, I think that that's a good way of, like, keeping the song together. And it, because when you have a sound like that, that's tied in the background, and then you bring it to more of a forefront position here, it subtly in your mind keeps it connected as the same section, even if it's just a really tiny thing, and a similar album and a similar song. And then this is bass. These really staccato strings. Not a lot else to say. I just made everything super punchy and staccato to make it like bum, 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 bum. I'm feeling now this was untrue. Like, and actually, in my head, I choreographed a lightsaber fight for that whole section. And you know, in Return of the Jedi, and Vader's down on the ground, and Luke is like just fucking bashing him over the head. That's what I always saw there, is like the berating, the bah, 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 was, I mean, I, for some reason, envisioned it as Mace Windu, just, like, bashing Palpatine, even though that never happens. It's not, like, a real thing. It was just Mace Windu, like, just with all his force swinging his lightsaber over his head and meeting Palpatine's, which was kind of stagnant on the ground, and just beating the shit out of it with all this anger and force. And yeah, that was that bit, and it gets bigger. It gets more and more angry as it goes on. Feeling now this I know was untrue. Like, I was the one who cared about to sum it up with something new. After all these years, fuck you. Where is that? All right, there's a really subtle thing here to make the that ending section feel more powerful and punchy. I add in really subtly, you know, I have these super punchy chords, And at the end, I add in a layer that's just a piano smash. It's just me basically beating the shit out of the bottom of the piano. It's on my old keyboard, but I permanently fucked up my F key doing that. But in this song. But so you have... And that accentuates this kind of just battering at the end that's like... And in my mind, in the lightsaber fight, the Jedi, who actually should be a Sith, because they have way too much anger to be a Jedi, was like ripping whatever Sith they were fighting to shreds. Like the lightsaber was actually meeting the Sith skin, and it was just tearing through it. And so it's this kind of just like guttural, angry, just slam at the end. And I have this other piano that comes in, that swoops in to pick up where the other piano should have been. Which that also ties you right back around to the beginning of the song, where we have that exact same piano line right here. Oh, shit. And then right before we're about to end the song, I bring you back around to the beginning of the song in a subtle way so that you connect in your mind. And it kind of feels like a full circle, an adventure, a story. And we go... And here's where Luke Skywalker's flap comes undone. You see that the suit was white on the inside the whole time, and it's symbolic of him finding the light in his father and finding the light in himself, as like he's truly good at heart, and that's his character motive, is finding the good in people, which is a really beautiful symbolism that George Lucas did. And that's kind of how I saw this transition into the last section. And then the last section is like, it's the light within all of it. It's the, finding the light in it, but it's still really witty and dumb. And I think I'm angrier at them. I say meaner shit, and I'm angrier at them in this last section more than I am in the entire rest of the song. But just sonically and everything, that was like, okay, that I thought of the transition as like the flap coming open, and then the end of the song being, here's the light, here's the end of it. And the light at the end of the song is like, I'm happier. And even though I'm saying, oh, I hate them, sonically, and you can hear like, I'm happier being gone from them, and I'm happier because of it. So we thought. So here's the flap coming open.
Thought there was no
and then
one
here's the light.
that I
It's
despised. But pastelish colors clouded my mind. I know that word's a little strong, but you see, for you it doesn't feel all that wrong.
So, there's not a lot to pick apart in this section at first. This melody, as both of you know, well, I think both of you know, is, it's known as the love theme, and it's one of the many motifs that appears throughout this album a lot. And this one appears the most. It just comes in anytime I'm representing any form of love. Here, the reason for the love is a little convoluted, but I kind of used it sarcastically. It's like, oh yeah, I love you. But when I think about it more metaphorically, it's more of like reminiscing on the past and the good times and the love of that. But I have these cutoffs here. Which that was kind of to represent the anger in it and the sarcastic side of it. Because when I use the themes, I try and manipulate them to make them fit how the song is working. and what I'm trying to say in the song. So I have it's a celesta, which goes through the melody. And then that pairs with the piano. I always meant, the thing that I meant to do was to do burn. Ding, but I never added that in. I kind of wish that I had, because it could have been.
Thought there was no one that I despised.
Sorry, I have to put this in real quick.
Thought there was no one that I despised. But pastelish colors clouded my mind. I know that.
And then this was kind of a cool arrangement, in my opinion.
In my mind.
So in this section, the celesta goes, da, 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 and it's kind of like a canon. So this does that line, and then I bring in the piano to mimic the last two notes of it, but it starts at the beginning of the line, so like how a canon would work. So. And so it makes a harmony for the last two lines. I don't know. I think it's cool.
But you see, for you it doesn't feel all that wrong.
And then I was kind of trying to make it pretty here, but also kind of groovier. So I added the drums here, which give you that rhythmic sensibility. But then I cut out the piano, so it's this kind of softer, sweeter melody at that point. The line, I really like the line, thought there was no one that I despised, but pastelish colors clouded my mind. I know that word's a little strong, but for you it doesn't feel all that wrong. That set of lines is like my favorite, and one of my favorite in the whole album. Because obviously, thought there was no one that I despised is not really anything, but pastelish colors clouded my mind is in reference to a song that I wrote called Pastelish. It was on the first release that I ever put out, 6. And so it's a reference to that, and it's just kind of like I don't know, it's like a cheeky way to throw that in there and to portray what I was trying to say. And then I know that word's a little strong. I mean, obviously it's in reference to despised. For you, it doesn't feel all that wrong. That's the thing that I think is funny. That's a reference to a previous song on the album called "I Won't Write a Fucking Love Song," where at the end I'm like, I would never write a love song, but for you, it doesn't feel all that wrong. And so it's like this really sweet thing. But here it's like, hey, I fucking despise you, and it doesn't feel wrong to say that. Even though I am not normally that mean, I wouldn't say that to anyone. So I don't know. I think that it's a kind of funny turning of the phrase, and I like it. Oh shit.
Alright, fuck it, let's bring some more shit in.
So that alright, fuck it, let's bring some more shit in is a reference to a Ben Folds song called Hero Song, where in the end of the song, he's like, there's a big, huge section, he's screaming, and he goes, all right, more shit, come on, bring in some more shit. And I just did a calmer version of that, essentially.
All that wrong. Alright, fuck it, let's bring some more shit in.
I've got a keyboard smash here that brings the piano back in, and the piano lands on chords, and then I have strings, which it's a chord. The bottom half of the strings are chords. I have violin and viola on this super staccato upward moving thing. I have this really subtle thing I mimic the melody in the viola, the lower violas. Bum, 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 bum. So you can hear if I deactivate everything else. You can hear I have right here the I have to have that note in there. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's cool. It's a really subtle thing. You won't really hear it, but it's tying it in with the rest of the stuff. It's tying the string section there. And then obviously the bass is on staccato. It's just quarter note staccato. It's almost like a marching line. And then whenever all the stuff comes in, I bring back in those tubular bells to have that boom, 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 boom. So. Oh, shit. So if I add that in with the strings, hold on. If I have this and this. And then we add back in the Celesta, which is the main line. There, yeah. And so I modeled this after, it's a Beatles-ish kind of a flute line. Oh wait, no, this isn't flute, this is clarinet. And this was because I had noticed that all of that my woodwinds lines were just really fast arpeggios, and I didn't want to have them be really fast arpeggios, so I made that one not an arpeggio, and I made these ones slow arpeggios. Have all those sections in there. And then to tie it back in with the rest of the song and also kind of heighten the section a little bit, there's this bass in here. It's just kind of a counter melody, and it heightens the section a little bit and makes it feel larger. One of the things that I have found myself really liking coming back to this song, which I just improvised on the spot, and it's a tiny little thing, is this little... There's this little thing in here that I just improvised when I was recording the piano part. It's like a... It was entirely improvised. It was just like a throwaway line. It's supposed to be in the background. But I find that whenever you hear it in the context of the song, that's something that makes it feel just all the more pretty and fluid and cool. So, yeah. Shit in. Because it's sits weirdly on the rhythm, so it's not where anything else is landing, and it's just kind of a pretty little melody that incorporates a lot of the ninths and stuff of chords. And then, after a little bit, you get some rhythmic modulation. Right here. Now some rhythmic modulation. And that was this.
Now some rhythmic modulation.
I walked like really far away from my mic and yelled it across my room with my hands cupped over my mouth like this. So it was like, now some rhythmic modulation. And then I boosted the sound a ton. And
now some rhythmic modulation.
And yeah, put it in the vocal track.
Now some rhythmic modulation.
And here's the piano solo. And it's really sloppy when you hear it on its own. When you hear the piano solo on its own, you're like, oh yeah, he wasn't very good at piano at that time. It's super fucking easy solo, but I couldn't play it. So it's really fucking sloppy. But when you hear it in the song, you can't hear the slop. But and then the drums change there, obviously. Go from to punk drums again. This is, you know. Slight arrangement change at the end that makes it sound like gross. Wait, what is this? Oh yeah, that's the ukulele that I forgot to mention. It just brings out the high end a little bit and makes it sound more fun. And on my bass track, I improvised this little one note hammer-on at the end. So it's like during the fade out, and it just makes it a little and the woodwinds don't fade out without. What's the thing that harmonizes? Oh, just itself. Yeah. That prevalent. Thing I'm never gonna unhear that I for some reason entirely forgot about was this string section over here, which I'm still gushing about. It's this one. That's still so cool to me. Yeah. That's after all these years. If you guys have... Oh, I was going to look at Crunchy next. See what that is. It may be a song that's on the record, and I just forgot that that's what I named the file. Crunchy. I agree. I think those strings are fucking gorgeous. There were a lot of tracks in Crunchy. Okay, there's only 8. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. That is Crunchy. Damn. So that one's clean. That's a nasty chord, though. What is this chord? It's like it's just an F sharp minor with a lot of notes in it. That is very crunchy. It's abrasive as all hell. I don't know what I intended with that, but I know what E-song is. E-song is quite frankly, because that one I didn't have a name for, and it was just the piano riff in there for a really long time, and I was like, this is gonna be a song. It's in E. Grort. Where's Grort? I know that okay, it's right here. Yeah, I'm looking at Grort. There was a strings ensemble in here. I don't know what this is. What the fuck? Oh, I'm so confused as to what the fuck this is. That's it. It's just got fucking okay. And apparently I had it looping, which means I was trying to figure out more to go on the loop, but there's very mixed opinions on Grort. I am sorry, Seth. This one is like clicks. Yeah, it's a that's a hi-hat sample. Huh. Shit. And then this is a very clippy brass ensemble. Bwang. Huh. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. What else is in here? No, the outro to the next album I already have finished. What is S-Face track by tracks? Oh, yeah, I remember that. Ooh, where is Hairless Spicy Milk? Probably in Roblox Death, actually. Hairless Spicy Milk. Bwang! Let is rest bass. Yeah, I'll go through Let It Rest when you get back. If you guys want me to, I can restart the stream after I eat dinner or whatever, because I will have to go to do that at some point. But
Diverse flavor in every sip, and texture that you can't believe hair wasn't in. Hairless spicy milk.
Bags of hairless spicy milk can be found at your local pet store in the
Diverse flavor.
gonna get rid of all those. I'll do all the fun here in a second.
Diverse flavor in every sip, and texture that you can't believe hair wasn't in. Hairless spicy milk.
It's a really simple composition. It's just 2-5-1.
Diverse
A
flavor
minor,
in every
D.
sip, and texture
Oh
that
shit,
you can't
D.
believe hair wasn't in.
G.
Hairless spicy milk.
And then that's a weird chord. I just did all of the notes that are in... No, not that. Sorry, I thought that was my piano. Where's the piano? Oh, right here. So that chord is the one. It's just got a bunch of extensions in it. I mean, you can see I just kind of... yeah, so then we got that, and then the snaps are sampled snaps. One in each ear, and they're slightly offset to make them sound like they're behind you. And then I actually spent about 40 minutes producing this. The vocals are very produced, and I took like a whole bunch of takes of them. There's this one.
Diverse flavor in every sip, and texture that you can't believe hair wasn't in.
And then there's this.
Diverse flavor and
All of the
diverse
vocals have an
flavor in
octave
every
that's just
sip,
pitch shifted up
and
an
texture
octave,
that you can't believe hair wasn't in.
which makes the choir feel more full and also more produced, more radio.
Diverse flavor in.
Oh shit. And then there's this one.
Diverse flavor in every sip, and texture that you can't believe hair wasn't in.
And then there's this one,
Diverse flavor in
which
every
is an octave
sip,
of that.
and texture that you can't believe hair wasn't in.
And then this.
Diverse flavor in every sip, and texture that you can't believe hair wasn't in. Diverse flavor in every sip,
Which are the
and
lower
texture
octaves.
that you can't believe hair wasn't in.
And then all together.
Diverse flavor in every sip, and texture that you can't believe hair wasn't in. Hairless spicy milk.
And then that's the weird chord.
The spicy milk. The spicy milk. Hairless spicy milk.
And then
Spicy. Hairless spicy milk.
Yeah.
Diverse flavor in every sip, and texture that you can't believe hair wasn't in. Hairless spicy milk.
Bags of hairless spicy milk can be found at your local pet store in the rat aisle. Don't be alarmed if you get rat disease. It might not kill you. Hairless spicy milk is a property of the Water Bag Company. Good luck signing a lawsuit without limbs.
That's just my best attempt at a radio advertiser voice.
Your local pet store in the rat aisle. Don't be alarmed if you get rat disease. It might not kill you. Hairless spicy milk is a property of the Water Bag Company. Good luck signing a lawsuit without limbs.
Yeah. The only thing I can really say, this rip here I thought was really fun. This brass rip. Boing.
Hairless spicy milk.
Bags of hairless spicy milk can be found at your local pet store in the rat aisle. Don't be alarmed if you get rat disease. It might not kill you. Hairless spicy milk is a property of the Water Bag Company. Good luck signing a lawsuit without limbs.
All right. What else do I have in these walls? What is yeez? At this point, I'm just exploring shit, and you get to hear it. So I don't remember a lot of this. Remember spooky EDM? I remember. Okay, this is. What the fuck? Oh, I know what this is. I remember now. I remember what this is. Again? Dear God, that's horrible. Yeah, I remember what that is. This was a game. My friends were at my house and we played this game. Oh shit! Where they, who didn't know how to produce music, would have a turn where they would sit at the producer's chair and try and produce something. They would just like try and come up with something and put it down and produce it. And then it would be my turn to try and save whatever they had produced to try and make it good. And my friend Jackson was so horrible. He was so awful. And he was obsessed with my arpeggiator feature. So that's how you ended up with this track, which I just, and when I was doing the production, just dropped it down really low, but it's just... Which if I bring it up to 0, you'll hear how horrible it is. So that was, yeah. So yeah, that's horrible. That was made on October 13th, 2018. 6 era. That's where my production skills were. Untitled. Oh, I know what yeah, that's just the one that's just random chords. I know Spooky EDM. Spooky EDM was something that Logan did. Okay. Goodbye, Lita. I'll look at all the fun here in a second. Spooky EDM was on the same night Logan and I Jackson left and Logan and I played still continued to play the game. And this one was just Logan and I, and Logan really wanted to make something that he thought was good. And so we put a lot more work into it, and we spent a lot more time on it. And we ended up with it's not terrible. It's this. Okay, I'll look at first. What's I?
I.
Sure. Sorry, I meant to.
I.
That was so good, man. I wonder who made that killer track. That's my favorite. I love that one. That one when they did when it said I. That was my favorite. For some reason, I was expecting someone to respond. Like I was hearing. Oh, I know what this is! Hold on, I gotta look at this first. I also have to go to the bathroom, so I will be right back. So I would like to see if you can recognize this. And it's cool. Oh, hey, Harrison. And it's cool if you can. Oh, wait, you're not going to recognize this. Never mind. I thought this was something different than it was. But that sounded like nightmare fuel, so... Why is there so much? There's so much happening. That is so abrasive. So that is bass. These are... That's already so fucking fast. And then there's the viola. And then there's the glockenspiel. It's just also like the tempo is so fast. And there's the grand piano. Times are right, these songs that don't make no sense. 'Cause I'm learning them. And then there's the drums. The drums are so intense. Oh, that's so... Oh, wow, that was a lot. I remember the song. The song it was called On Lyrics versus Melodies. I'd always pick the latter. And the song was about how I preferred songs with complex theory to songs with good lyrics. But the ironic part of it is that it is one of the simplest songs I have ever written. It's literally just 1 5 6 5 1 over and over again. I didn't intend it as irony. I just didn't know how to write songs. And I tried to say that it was like metaphorical for people not knowing about me, but it wasn't. It was just me ranting about jazz. So it's terrible, though. Yeah. It was awful. Man, that was terrible. Gucci Gangnam Style. Gucci Gangnam Style. I was gonna go through all the fun. Is that the right file, though, or is there one in Modern Humor, Era Modern Humor? Yeah, that's gonna be the right one, and then I'm gonna be looking at the wrong one. So this is, I guess I can show you, this would have been the original recording of the song. It's a lot funkier. Oh, that's nasty. I remember writing it like that, but I have not heard that in so long. Yeah, that's parts of that were cool. I like hearing it under this different rhythmic phrasing rather than the normal where everything lands. It's like Oh, shit. I have not been showing you this at all, have I? I'm sorry. I should have been showing you. It's... Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. I think that's cool. I have not heard that in so fucking long. When did I produce that? Hold on, I gotta go back to see. Roblox, death, and that is all the fun. Properties. That was made January 21st, 28. That was 2 days after my birthday in 2018. Huh. That's insane. All right. Well, here's the real song. There are so few tracks in this song.
Give me just one reason why I shouldn't end you now. Hurl my scarf around your neck and leave you sprawling on. And it may seem unnecessary,
I don't really know what to say.
a waste of time, but through your pain and suffering, I'm having all the fun each time they die.
I mean, I've already explained the story to you. I don't know what else I would say. So, this was one of the first times that I like really tried on my strings arrangements and used actual arrangement skills that I had picked up recently. So you remember I was talking to you on after all these years about those diverging path melodies, where you have one that's going up and one that's going down, and they cross paths at the same time. So if I take away the bass note, you can hear both lines, like one is going down, the other one's coming up. And every time through, the one that's going up gets a new harmony on top of it to make it feel like it's growing. And then as kind of a jazz composition technique, a lot of times they'll keep one note in the bass so that it feels like inevitable that you're going to come back home. You're going to come back to the tonic. So you keep where you're wanting to go in the bass. So the bass just sits on this low E, which it creates more pull to try and get back to the E. And then there's drums, which are clipping a lot for some reason. And then the piano riff.
You scared of what you become.
So this piano line I actually think is really pretty. And what happened with this one is I thought the original version of it was really jarring, and it was like a kick in the gut out of that previous section. It didn't work well. So I asked my dad for help, and since he used to be a professional composer, and so he workshopped it with me and worked with me on how to make it better. He added in these spice notes. He just came into the DAW and he was like, hey, can you draw in these specific notes? And it made it sound a lot better. It's these notes up here that create more leading tones to make it sound less less jarring from the previous section. So if I get rid of all the other shit you can hear. And then he added in these. And so if I bring it all back in, and it helps lead from one place to another in a really subtle way. And then the way that these strings happen is they just hit on the tonic and then fade out. And then there's drums.
I'm down and now. Just think of all the fun I'm having now.
And then here's this section. Dude, I have not been in this project in so long, in years. So I don't know if I can remember what all this stuff is, but there's this. Okay. So that's just a beefier piano to make the main line more percussive, and that's spread across 4 octaves. Then this is in the song. This is a glockenspiel, which is playing the harmony part, which is rather than and then there's this other one, and that's very bad sounding brass because I didn't have good brass samples at the time. But that was what I got for Christmas last year, was better brass samples. And Barlow thought that was hilarious. I did not get why it was funny, but those are that's really the thing that's meant to be carrying all of it. And then the piano is doing this kind of funky offbeat stuff. And then that is the string arrangements for this section, which are really, really buried, but I've always really liked them. Just as a counter melody to everything that's going on. So when you bring everything else back in,
Funny to think inside jokes will spark from this one death before another travesty will massacre them once again.
I always meant to add those harmonies in there, and I never got around to it. It was supposed to be, we'll massacre them once again, just like the person they all know, that charismatic soul. I had all these harmony parts that I never
was killed away by what he's done to everyone he knows.
And then you go. It's the same string arrangement, same drums, it's the exact same section.
You scared of what you've become.
That's also the exact same section.
Next time you're down and out, just think of all the fun I'm having now.
What's this leading thing? Oh, okay, I see. So that stuff is all there. I mean, it's exactly the same. I just repeat the same like 2 sections over and over again, because I wanted the song to be longer for some reason. It used to be a lot shorter. It was like 2.5 minutes. And I was like, this song needs to be long. So I just repeated sections over and over again, which I regret that decision now. But
I'm just scared of what I've become.
Oh, wait, shit. No, it's this up here.
So next time you're down and out, just think of all the fun I'm having now.
So difference is that in the previous sections it goes A,
Think of all the
A
fun.
minor, but here I go A,
Think of all
and then A flat, which puts us in the key of C sharp minor rather than the key of E. I mean, technically it could be in either, but you feel more like you're in the key of C sharp minor at this point because of that chord change. So we switch to this C sharp minor and this super metal-y shit. So there's that dinky piano there, and then once again the beefy piano, I'm assuming, is what's down here. Yeah. And then there's strings, which are all super staccato and stuff, but they kind of swoop in and out. This breakdown was always my favorite part of the song. There's this synth, which I couldn't play guitar very well, and I didn't trust myself to write a good guitar part for here, so I just used like a bassy synth in its place. So all together.
and now. Aren't you scared of what you
And there's that section again, which I changed the arrangement of these chords a little bit to it's reversed, rather than going from E down to C sharp minor. You're coming from C sharp minor back up to E, so it feels different this time whenever we have this, because normally it would be the opposite. It would be ba-na-na, but instead ba-na-na.
Next time you're down and out, just think of all the fun I'm having now. Hey!
So I actually rewrote the lyrics to this section. I played it live twice with these new lyrics. Or once, because my parents didn't want me to play it on my first show. Because it was at a coffee shop, and they were like, this song is inappropriate for a coffee shop. So, but the new lyrics are like, I'm just scared of what I've become. I've hurt you and now I know it isn't all that fun to be alone. And then instead of hey, it would be like shit. And that's I didn't say shit at my other show. I just slammed the keyboard, but it's isn't all that fun to be alone. Shit. And you go into the normal section. So I'll bring the vocals back in then. So there's this, which is the glockenspiel, and it's just doing arpeggios. And then there's the beefy piano again that's just doubling the riff to make it feel larger. So together those are... and there's these drums, and the string section is exactly the same. And so then this choir, it builds every single time. So it starts off and we just have...
Aren't you scared?
It's these two.
Aren't you scared of this thing you become?
I think that those are pretty harmonies on their own. So it's this.
Aren't you scared of this thing you become?
And then the second one is like
Aren't you scared
lower and
of this thing you become?
When you put them together, then it's...
Aren't you scared of this thing you become?
And then next...
Aren't you scared of this thing you become?
which is the same as this one, but whenever you're building a choir like that, you have to have the previous ones come in too at the second time around, third time around.
Aren't you scared?
And then that's this one. That one is this one. And then I add one new harmony there, which is this, and it's...
Aren't you scared of this thing you become?
Which, together, all three now is...
Aren't you scared of this thing you become?
And then...
Aren't you...
So that's that one, and then the only last one that comes in...
Aren't you scared of this thing you've become?
Why did I have... I don't... That's a weird choice. I did not add a new harmony on the second time? Or the third time? It's weird.
Aren't you scared
doubled one of
Of this thing you become? Aren't you scared of this thing you become?
It's just that one note is changed. I don't know why I made that decision. It's really weird, but that's all the fun. It's not a lot to say about that one. It's not very many tracks. It's an older song, so the production's not that great, but I hope that furthers your understanding of it more. What next?
Hear all the shouting from outside the walls. It seeps through the doorways and out to the halls. I feel all the anger, this terrible fright, but I know the end of this conflict tonight. Well, the jury's waiting carefully and eagerly and calm for the one that they hated to right made his wrong and fall back to the crowd of which he belongs. Oh, boys behind the bar. I just can't wait to see this one unfold. Like singer and heartbreak, it's just so damn cold. And all of the listeners of this crowd behold a story unsold.
Yeah, it's clear I did not finish this song. But it's pretty cool. I'm just waiting for you to tell me what you want me to look at next. By the way, I don't care about listening to stuff. I was just waiting for you to... Okay. Hey there, Delilah. This is not my cover of it. This is a cover by my friend named Lil Skater Boy. And he came over to my house to produce this one. He really just poured his entire heart into it and every ounce of his heart that he had. He poured every last drop into this cover, and he died very shortly thereafter. It's a gorgeous display of everything. So I'll just play a little bit and let you taste it.
Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty, yes you do. Times Square can't shine as bright as you. swear it's true.
So you can see I labeled all of the vocal tracks based on what key they're in. So this one is in the native key in D.
Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look...
And this one is in E.
Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty, yes you do.
And then this one is in
Times
G.
Square can't shine as bright as you. I swear it. Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000.
So you may be thinking, but you didn't get all the keys. There's still some missing. You've got to have instruments and all the other keys in between those. So I agree. This is the...
Hey there, Delilah, what's
this
it?
vocal is in E flat. So you have D, E, G, and E flat are the vocals.
Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City?
So altogether, this creates this gorgeous choir of people singing very slightly different pitches. It sounds just beautiful.
Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty, yes you do. Times Square can't shine as bright as you.
And then that's accompanied by this just heart-pounding trap beat that just pulls at the heartstrings with every bloated kick. And it loops like that for the rest of the song. So now I'm going to move on to the piano, which this one is... It's gorgeous. It's in the key of D, and it's the right amount of boring. Now these are some glockenspiel chimes that are tuned to the key of E, or I think they're tuned to the key of F actually. They are in E flat. Sorry, got both of those wrong. It's what an embarrassment. And then the strings, which are in the key of E. So we've got D, E, and E flat, D, E, and E flat, and also G. And those all come together to create this beautiful orchestra.
Hey there, Delilah, don't you worry about the distance. I'm right there if you get lonely. Give this song another listen. Close your eyes. Listen to my voice, it's my disguise. I'm by your side. Oh, it's what you do with me.
So this chorus is really good, but it's not much to explain, so I'm just going to move on. This part doesn't matter. They just accidentally forget and switch to a different song. It's a Freudian slip.
Could this be love at first sight, or should I walk by again? Your photo.
That part sucks, but this is the right back into.
Go back.
And you can see here, he was talking to me and the friends who were helping him produce this, and he shouted out. He was like,
Oh, fuck. This is the wrong song. Guys, go back. There we go.
and that was all the information I needed to completely change the song on the spot and return to the original song. So that's Hey There, Delilah. I didn't want to play too much of that because I didn't want to get copyright striked. Striked. I don't really think that I would. I don't know. I don't remember. Scrorm? What is scrorm? It's something. Thank you. Oh! You know what that is. All right. This was part of how I introduced myself to Lita, but yeah. There's Wilt. That old song. I'm gonna listen to this. I don't remember what this was. What, Seth? Oh, I can show you and tell you. The Devin demo thing. So this is my folder of stuff that I did for friends of mine. Hold on, I'll play this first and then I'll talk about that. This was really early Finn production. This was whenever I was still producing Six. And I had this internet friend who had written these lyrics and wanted me to do a song of it. And they were like, if you produce it, that would be so cool. Can you please do that? And I was like, yeah, of course. And I ended up with this. So. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't know. I liked it. I thought that was cool. I haven't heard that in a long while. A great many years. Not a great many years. It's been like maybe 1.5 years. But, would be a terrible Pierce the Veil song. But so basically the Devin demos were Devin wanted to have music to play, but he was trying to get into Twitch streaming and he wanted to have music to play like whenever the oh shit. Didn't know where that wobble was coming from. Whenever the stream was like waiting to start. So, oh shit, I opened the wrong thing. So he asked me to do it. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. And so I got together and I produced this kind of lo-fi, just interesting experimental little thing that I thought sounded really cool. That was this. This was the thing that I initially produced for him and gave to him. This viola was not in there, so I'm gonna take that out. But there was this. Oh, not that. There was a bass. Where did... This is a copy. This was... Yeah. I'm so confused. I don't know where those instruments came from. But... This was the original, and it was this. That was what I gave to him. And pretty call. I think it's pretty call as well. Yeah, that's what I gave to him. And he basically said that it sucked. He was like, that's I don't really like that. I like to use hype music before my streams. And I was like, I think that'll be kind of cooler. And he was like, no, I would like it if you just followed my instructions. So I was like, all right. So I went through and I made the most boring fucking dance song. It's just... I think I produced this whole thing in like, I don't know, 15 minutes. Because writing shit that's that formulaic and producing it is so easy. You just throw it. You know, you just blah on the page and then it's there. So... So you end up with that shit. And and he was like, yeah, that's great. Thanks so much. And I was like, sure. The cooler project that I worked on, it never ended up getting finished, but someone at one point asked me to make a music for their video game, their mobile video game that they were developing. It was an old college friend of my dad's, and he wanted music for the game, and he asked my dad, and my dad was like, I don't really... Sorry, I thought I heard a noise. My dad basically said he didn't do that anymore. Yeah, I have heard it. You sent it to me. So my dad directed the guy to me. And so I made a couple demos for it. But the guys the guy's wife got really ill and he couldn't finish the game, so they just kind of here. And all of the songs were meant to loop because he needed them to loop for the game, for like sections of games. Yeah. I was really excited about that project. That was one of the first things that I was like, holy shit, I'm doing the thing that I want to do. I am making the music, which I don't know. Good memories, but it's okay that it never happened. I'm going to end the stream for a little while. I might come back later if people ask me to, but I'm going to have to eat dinner really soon. So, yeah, we'll look at more stuff later if that's what's wanted of me. And if not, then I won't be here after dinner. So long. I don't know who the other 3 people are other than Seth. But you're not assholes, so I can't reference my own song, but so long.